All right, Tyreek Hill is a Miami Dolphin. So
Yeah.
we need to talk about him in Dynasty. Are we buying or selling Miami Vice Tyreek Hill?
Miami
Okay.
Vice.
He goes from Patrick Mahomes to Tua last year with Patty. He had 111 receptions on 159 targets, over 1,200 yards and 9 tutties, finishing as a wide receiver 6. So Badake in Dynasty, are you buying him? Are you selling him, meaning trading him away?
Yeah, for me, for Tyreek Hill, I am selling. And you said it as you were introing it. He's going from Patrick Mahomes to Tua Tagovailoa. And that's no knock on Tua. I still believe in Tua. I love Tua as a dynasty quarterback. I don't know if he can keep the efficiency and the production that Tyreek Hill was getting back at Kansas City. Okay. Look, so that's really what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the opportunity. So I would sell. I will be trying to sell right here, right now, because if you can sell him now, because a lot of people are saying, you know what, hey, Tyreek is still it dropped. It's still a little bit of a good price, but I think you can still get a first, which is great. I said this a long time ago in our
definitely still get a first.
Yeah, 100%. I said this a long time ago in our players to sell high on, and Tyreek was on that list. And I said these are two things that can happen. He either is going to get a contract extension with Patrick Mahomes, or once his contract was up, there was going to be, his value is going to drop because everyone knew he was no longer going to be with Patrick Mahomes, and then he just gets traded out of nowhere. Okay, so that was a huge hit. And I really just have 2 questions for you guys.
Come on, round of applause there. Round of applause. I don't think anyone. No, genuinely, I support the Chiefs. I didn't think Tyreek was going to leave.
It was just everything. I mean, when I did the research last time, I was like, you know what? Why not move away from him? I wasn't expecting them to do it so soon. I thought maybe at the end of this year, but hey, it kind of just happened. But for the questions I have for the community, and I really asked myself, is that do you believe Tyreek Hill can finish in the top 10 again? And I don't think so. And especially where you probably drafted him in dynasty startups or even in redrafts, I just don't see that happening again, in my personal opinion. And the second question is that can Tua produce 2 top 15 wide receivers? And I think he can produce 1. We've seen that with Jalen Waddle, but can he do it with 2 now that Tyreek is there? And this offense is going to be completely different. And by the way, that's a no for me. It's really hard for me to see that. I think there's a possibility, but it's really, really hard for me to see that. So for me, I'm just trying to sell as high as possible. I do think there's opportunities that I think there's going to be up and down each week for these guys. Tyreek's going to be the guy. Jalen Waddle's going to be the guy, and it's going to feel like there's no. I do think Jalen Waddle moving forward will be the more consistent wide receiver on the team. But Tyreek,
he knows the offense. Yeah.
Exactly. Tyreek Hill, he got the bag. I think that was clear what he wanted to do. He got the bag. He set it up. He's setting up for his future, and I think he knows that he was going to come to Miami, maybe take a step back from the production that he was getting with Patrick Mahomes. And the last thing for me was a target share. Okay, he was averaging 136 targets a year since Patrick Mahomes came to the Chiefs in 2018. Well, he came in 2017, but his first year start was 2018. Okay, 136 targets. Once again, Tua give him 136 targets with, Jalen Waddle there, Mike Gesicki? I don't think so. Okay, I see him losing at least 20 to 25 targets, which put him around the 110, the 105-ish area. I think that's comfortable. Not saying that he can't finish in the top 10, top 15 with those targets. I'm just saying that's a big loss for Tyreek Hill. Let's remember who this guy is, and not to mention he is getting older. Not saying that he's not going to be the Cheetah, the fastest player in the NFL, but one more injury into the hamstring, and then it's done, in my opinion.
Okay, so I'm not so on board with saying that he's not going to get over 120 targets because I think we're lowering him a little bit. We have to keep in mind there's 17 games, so if you're taking his average per year, then you're leaving out an entire game's worth. Mm-hmm. But I am also selling, and maybe for a little bit of different reasons. I think the biggest thing for me, again, when I look at these buy or sells, is the price. Is the price reasonable enough for me to go out and buy? And if I want Tyreek Hill, I better be a win now team. I better not be a rebuilding team. But the price hasn't dropped enough for me to buy yet. Okay, that keyword yet. Firstly, like you said before, no one can really convince me that Tyreek is more valuable without Mahomes. You just can't. There's nothing you could say that could convince me there. Mm-hmm. But secondly, and this is the biggest thing that I'm struggling with here, is do I trust this Miami offense. Do I trust this Miami offense? Well, let's talk about the quarterback. Do I trust Tua? Yes, I actually do trust Tua.
Okay.
I've said this before. I think he was one of the most efficient quarterbacks last year. Not only do I think that, there are many stats to prove it. 9th in true completion percentage, 4th in play action completion percentage,
Right.
3rd highest accuracy rating according to Player Profiler, the highest deep ball completion percentage. That's important. So on throws of more than 20 yards, which is where Tyreek really burns these defenses, he had the best deep ball completion percentage. He also had the highest red zone completion percentage. So also doing all this, by the way, behind the worst offensive line in the NFL, according to PFF. So I do believe that Tua can make Tyreek and Jalen Waddle fantasy relevant. However, this offense will not be built the way that Kansas City's was. This will not be the same offense in Miami that it was in Kansas City. It is a different offense. And why is that? Because Mike McDaniels is the head coach. And what's his background? Well, from 2017 to 2020, he was the 49ers run game coordinator. All right. Can you focus on the run game? And they've been a great run team for a long time. And then last year, he was their offensive coordinator. And they were a very good run team again. So knowing that he played such a pivotal role in the offense in San Francisco, you have to assume that offense, there will be many shades of that offense here in Miami. Right. He's going to probably try and, implement a couple things that he wants to try. But I believe that this is going to be a similar offense to what they ran in San Francisco, just tailored to the players that are there. So expect a desire for a strong run game, screens, sweeps, etc. And if you look at last year alone, Kansas City's offense versus San Francisco's, let's just compare those, okay? Because, again, the head coach was in control of San Francisco's offense for the most part. If you look at pass attempts last year, Kansas City was second in the NFL. San Francisco was second to last, 31st.
Right.
Rushing attempts, Kansas City was 20th. San Francisco was 6th, okay? So follow me here for a journey, because I'm going to try and predict his target share right here, right now. Last year, Tyreek Hill had 159 targets because of that pass-happy Chiefs offense.
Right.
You lose Devontae Parker in the offense, which clears up about 7.4 targets per game. That's big, but still, I can't see a way that Tyreek gets 159 targets. Last year, Jimmy G had 29.5 pass attempts per game. Tua had 29.8. Right. So let's just call it 30. Let's just say that this offense throws the ball 30 times per game. Okay, so let's say Waddle gets 7.5. Mike Gesicki gets 5.5 targets per game. Let's say Myles Gaskin, Edmonds, those running backs, between them, they have 5 targets per game. I put Cedric Wilson, I feel, at a very reasonable target share per game at 3.4. And then let's say random players get a couple targets per game. That would leave around 7.6 targets per game for Tyreek Hill. And I think that Tyreek and Jalen Waddle are going to get the same amount of target share, but I still gave him a little bit of an edge there. That's 129 targets, okay? So that's 30 less than what he got last year. Still good. I still think that he can finish top 12. I still think he can finish in that area, but I'm not sure that we're going to see a top 5 finish. And that's 2 weeks ago, that's what you were trading for. And right now, I don't think that the price has dropped enough to bring him to a point that's reasonable. So, and when I've started my take, I said the price isn't a good enough place to buy now.
Okay.
So I want to buy Tyreek Hill mid-season when the expectation of what he can bring to your team has lowered, when it will cost much less, because I don't expect us around mid-season time to still view Tyreek Hill as an elite dynasty guy, a top 5 bona fide player. I think there will be more conversations around top 15, which then opens up a good buy opportunity if I am a win now team. So for me, still think that he can produce. I still think that he's going to be efficient, but yeah, he's not an elite top 5 guy. So let's talk about what a fair price to pay is then. If I'm looking to sell, because I think I should easily be able to get an early 23 first or an early, let's say, the 102 in this year's draft. I mean, that's according to Keep Trade Cut and other crowdsourcing information. That's what his current value is. So if I'm trying to sell him, that's what I would be looking for. A 23 first would be ideal. But there's also some wide receivers that I would be looking to trade for, either straight up or picks included on either side. DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, I'd rather have. T. Higgins, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, I would rather have. And this is a more realistic trading option. If you go get Diggs for Tyreek Hill, I would do that straight up. And we have I don't know if the Diggs buy or sell has been released yet or not, but check that out soon on our page because I really do believe in Diggs. So what about you? Because you're selling as well. So what's your perspective?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think a top 4 pick in the 2022 draft or a first in 2023, it just makes sense. And like you said, a package with the following players. I agree with T. Higgins, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, DK. Maybe you can get maybe get a Kyle Pitts, get a Tyreek, throw in a pick or two, whatever the case may be. I think that is something that can be done because I think the longevity with Kyle Pitts would just be a lot better than Tyreek Hill. But those are the people that I'm looking to. Maybe Devonta Smith if you really wanted to do it. But I think you can get
picks back in that.
Exactly. You can get something back in return for a Devonta Smith if you're just trying to move away from Tyreek. I think for me, I'm just trying to move away. I think losing Patrick Mahomes will be a bigger thing than we think. So we just got to wait and see what this year brings for Tyreek Hill and these Dolphins.
Yeah, it's definitely the wrong time to buy. If we can agree on one thing, it's the wrong time to buy based off of the price. And I think the right time to buy is going to be mid-season. And let's talk about where you would draft him in a startup. Based on his age and honestly how difficult I think it's going to be for him to adjust to Miami, I would say 4th round is where I'm comfortable drafting him. And I know that probably sounds crazy, but I don't want to take him in the 3rd round, and that's where he's going in most of our startup mocks.
Yeah,
early 4th round is fine for me though.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and I said late 3rd, early 4th. I think that's okay. It's comfortable. I mean, every time we do a mock, you see Stephon Diggs, a Chris Godwin. You know, the Elijah Moore is going after him, so you can kind of take a chance with either one of those guys after. But I think end of the 3rd, early 4th makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. Let us know down below. Are you buying or are you selling Tyreek Hill in Dynasty?
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.